Okay, we're officially live. Swinging Bull here with PB Alerts. Welcome back to another one of my earnings stream. I do these every Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. Pick out a few tickers, a few popular tickers, see what their stock price reaction is to the earnings data, EPS, revenue, guidance, any commentary from the CEO. I show people how to get to the earnings web call and get the links for all that. So today we got two stocks here. One is Applied Digital, which is ticker symbol APLD. And the other one is Levi, ticker symbol LEVI. Applied Digital, they report at 4:05 p.m. Eastern, I believe. Double check here. Yeah, 4:05 p.m. Eastern. In their forecast EPS negative 0.11. Forecast revenue 42.9 million. Quick look at their annual chart from Earnings Whispers. Anchored VWAP around like $18 a share. They're trading a bit above that. So 4:05 p.m. Eastern, we'll get APLD earnings reaction in their earnings data. Levi reports at 4:10 p.m. Eastern. Their forecast EPS is 0.31. Forecast revenue 1.5 billion. So it's a $1 billion company. Volstagg on YouTube. Good to see you. Got almost 400 people piling into the stream now. Good to see everybody. So we got Applied Digital and Levi reporting earnings. Levi, take a quick peek at their annual chart here from Earnings Whispers. Anchored VWAP around 22 bucks. They're trading just above 24. We go to two chart view on Webull just real quick. Here we go. Got a few minutes before we get the earnings data for APLD. Let's take a look at the condition the company was in going into the earnings. APLD closed the regular session at $29.29, up 4.8% today. They got a negative EPS, negative 1.16, $224 million float, or 224 million float, excuse me. Income statement, they have had some issues pulling a positive net income, so it's just something to keep note. They did pull a positive net income on their last earnings, though. Total revenue, Q4 up showing 0. Let's look at the balance sheet real quick. Let's see, Levi, Republica on X. Levi doesn't report until 4:10 p.m. Eastern. So I think that just might be some pre-earnings volatility there. Yeah, it looks a little funky, don't it? Price is already all the way back up here. So not sure what that candle was about. See what it looks like on TradingView. I mean, Levi is, go to 1 minute. Earnings Whisper said they didn't report till 4:10. Maybe that was a typo. So we'll see. Let me see if I got any data on it. So I don't think the data's out yet. I think this is just like pre-earnings volatility here. Yeah, I don't think the data's out yet on Levi, unless it got leaked or something. 2 moves on X. Levi's exploding. I wouldn't speak too soon. It's kind of all over the place right now. It came down to 24.26, then it came up to 24.94, then it came back to where it closed at. It's kind of all over the place right now. So I think we just got to give it a minute and wait for things to settle down. Not sure what this volatility is about because I don't think their data's out yet. Let's go back over here. Going into the earnings, Levi had a trailing 12-month PE, nice and positive, 24. EPS of 1.01. 2% dividend yield per Webull. Free float 100 million. I'll keep my screen on the candlesticks for now. So we're getting some movement on both stocks. APLD's earnings should be out. They were supposed to release before Levi. They closed the regular session again, 29.29. They came down to 27.61, then came up, and now it's just kind of flickering. So let me see what I got on that one. Okay. Yeah, I'm not showing anything. Let me go to their investor relations page. Republica asks, do you buy some share? I'm not holding either of these companies. I don't have shares in either of these companies, so I'm completely third-party bias on this one. Let me go to APLD investor relations. Okay, so far APLD's got a negative reaction. It's down about 5%. It's been jumping around a little bit. Levi's back to basically where it closed the regular session at. So all that candle movement we just saw, that was just like pre-earning jitters or something. Levi's earnings is supposed to drop at 4:10 p.m. It's in another 4 minutes. I got a nice little graphic here from the earnings correspondent regarding APLD. So APLD did get a double beat. Forecast EPS was negative 0.16, and they just reported negative 0.07. So EPS still negative, but they did beat by 56%. Revenue 45.46 million was the forecast. They just reported 64.2 million. They beat that by 41%. So, I mean, from the bird's eye view, it looks like they did well beating the forecast. They did very well beating the forecast. EPS for year over year and quarter over quarter needs improvement, but revenue looks good year over year, quarter over quarter. So that's something. Initial negative reaction. I wonder if they messed with the guidance or anything. Let me see if I can find some commentary from the CEO. Tuatage on YouTube. There was flow to the downside, 2650. Yeah, I'm thinking you're talking about options flow, maybe. Okay. Let me see if I can find out what the CEO said and all that. And then we're gonna Levi should be out in just a few minutes. Okay, Tuatage, I got you. Republica on X, APLD looking good. Earnings, do market buy it? I can't tell you when to buy and sell stock, but I normally don't trade through earnings. It's too risky. You're kind of gambling. Now, if you already have an existing position in a company you feel strongly about that you've been holding, of course we trade those through earnings, and there's different ways to protect yourself when doing that. But just blindly jumping into stocks through earnings announcements, that's not a good strategy. But over here in the Discord, I kind of help show everyone safe ways to trade and stuff like that. But so Republica on X, I just my opinion, but I don't just randomly buy stocks through earnings. It's a bit risky. I'm more of a conservative trader. I'm more on the contract writing side. So I write option contracts. Most of my trades are sell to open, or I'm collecting credit if I'm doing a spread or something like that. I run a ton of the wheel strategy, selling cash secured puts to get into stocks that we like, collecting income and premium while we're doing it. Then we'll see how many rounds of cash secured puts we can get in before we even get assigned a single share. Just kind of build up that income, create a nice little cushion for us. So when the day comes that we do get assigned, our technical cost basis will be much lower than our assignment price. So that's kind of the types of trades that I like doing. More on the selling side of the opening transaction, if you will. Elon Musk on X. You bought a call on APLD at 17 for 31. Okay. It looks like a little of the, let me go back to TradingView. Some of the like pre-earnings volatility kind of, as far as the downside went, kind of went away on APLD. Look, it's actually green in after hours now, up 3%. Trading above 30 bucks. Just trying to catch a bid right now. Interesting. Let's see if it holds up. Initial reaction was negative. Bit too volatile for my liking, but if this turns into a positive reaction and you bought calls even somewhat close to the money, you should have a good payday tomorrow. Look at Levi. Levi's earnings were supposed to drop at 410. It's 411. But Levi's price isn't doing anything. She's kind of frozen right now. So we'll come back to that in a minute. APL, most people are here for Applied Digital, I would think. And for those that don't know, Applied Digital's in the fintech space. All right. Elon Musk. Your calls are already up 1,000%. Wow. How'd you pull that off? It's not up too much, right? It's only up 2%. The stock is. So. But, you know, like I say, if it ends up being a positive reaction and you know, you bought calls close to the money, better yet, even in the money, there should be some profit on there tomorrow when the regular session bell rings for the open. But kind of pulling back a little bit right now. A little bit of indecision on APLD. I have to be honest. You know, initial negative reaction, then it starts looking like it's going to rally, and now it's literally just right back to a little bit above where it closed the regular session. So, you know, be a little careful with this if you're trying to day trade it in after hours with limit orders. This thing's all over the place. No real clear trend, is there? Oh, okay. Elon Musk on X. Oh, so your calls are already up 1,000%, and you meant from when you bought it. So okay, cool. So you must have been hanging on to those calls for a bit. Yeah, look at this daily chart. I mean, shoot, this thing was at $4. What, like 6 months ago? It was trading around $3 actually, $3 to $4. So yeah, if you bought calls back, you know, around then or even before then, I mean, this stock's been in the $2 range before. Looks like they did do a, what is that? Yeah, they did a split here, 1 for 6. That was in 2022 though, so that was about 3 years ago. No splits since then. So I think they did a reverse split back in 2022 to get themselves out of a little bit of trouble, and they haven't had to do one since then. And now look at the price. Literally rallied from the $2 range up to 29. So yeah, I bet Elon Musk, if you bought calls back then, I'm sure they're up quite a bit. Congrats on those calls. Derek Phillips on next. Your long term been up 90%. Congrats. Yeah, I mean, they're obviously been getting a lot of attention lately. They've been on a pretty sweet rally. I mean, you know, it pulled back a little bit last month, but you know, after that pullback, another leg up, no problem. I mean, in the grand scheme of things, this thing's been rallying since April. Had a bit of a pullback from December of last year, going into April. Part of that was probably, you know, a 20% correction we experienced from February to April of this year. Maybe that wasn't even their fault right there. But yeah, just been rallying ever since. Bit of a pullback right here from 15 to 9 and some change, but off to the races. So yeah, I mean, overall, congratulations to anyone who believed in APLD back Back here when it started rallying in April, it was only trading at $4. Look at Levi, getting some selling on Levi. We're going to find out what they did. I'm going to go back intraday to APLD. So still a bit of volatility. Can't make a decision which way it wants to go. Needs to get above 29.30. Could be some sellers right there. Little volume shelf sticking out. 29.30, 29.60. Probably my two levels to the upside for now, but see the volume profile sticking out. Okay, changed a little bit. We've got more volume coming in. Yeah, 29.30 needs to get back above there before my confidence goes up that this is going to start maybe trending up. So APLD, they did beat the forecasts. They beat EPS. They beat revenue. Let me see if I can find out what the CEO and CFO said. I was trying to find that earlier. Okay, here we go. All right, let's take a look here. This is from the, let's see, during the quarter ended August 31st, 2025, we signed an additional 150 megawatt lease for our Polaris Forge 1 campus. Okay. Let's see, secured approximately $11 billion in prospective lease revenue over the approximately 15-year terms. We believe this campus has the potential to expand significantly. And here's another comment from the CEO, Wes. He's the chairman CEO. We feel this third lease validates our platform and execution, positioning Applied Digital as a trusted strategic partner to the world's largest technology companies. With hyperscalers expected to invest approximately $350 billion into AI development this year, that's a big investment. We believe we are in a prime position to serve as the modern day picks and shovels of the intelligence era. Very interesting. In addition, we broke ground on our second North Dakota campus near the city of Harwood, and they named it Polaris Forge 2, which will initially have 250 megawatt buildings where we plan to utilize for IT loads in its initial phase of delivery. We believe this campus could ultimately scale pending future power agreements. We're currently in advanced discussions with an investment-grade hyperscaler and have aligned on many of the key lease terms with them. That sounds promising. Should the lease be executed, the customer would hold first right of refusal, contingent on securing additional power. This is interesting stuff on this guy. I always been intrigued with Applied Digital and like their business model. See here, more commentary. Geez, they're talking a lot here before they even do the earnings web call. They put out a ton of statements. Okay, when signed, it would bring our total lease capacity to 600 MW across 2 sites with 2 major hyperscalers. Once both campuses are anchored by long-term hyperscaler commitments, we feel Applied Digital will be strongly positioned to lead the next wave of AI infrastructure development, supported by multi-year lease agreements. They got long-term lease agreements in place, which in turn provide scale and visibility for sure. And they go on to say, this is good stuff from the commentary here. Our team remains focused on securing capital at the lowest possible cost, building repeatable financing structures, and positioning the company to scale development across the United States. George on YouTube, are you going in the web call? Let's find out when that is, because it's either at 4:30 or 5. APLD. We'll find out, George on YouTube. I'll find out what time that is and how to get there. And we're going to switch over to Levi because they got a negative reaction. Okay, let's take a look. Here it is here. Okay, so this is for my buddy George on YouTube. The earnings conference call, it's not till 5 p.m. Eastern. It's got about 40 more minutes to burn before you get to watch that. But I'm going to put this link in the comments for you. And so if you want to just bookmark it or screenshot it, that'll get you to the earnings web call. There, I just put it on the bottom of my screen. So that link I just put on the bottom of my screen, that'll get you to the earnings web call for APLD. It's at 5 p.m. Eastern. This is the page I'm on right here. It's right on the home page, right on the featured image. Just click webcast when you get there. They might have you fill out a little form. It's okay. They just try to keep track of how many people are attending the web call and stuff like that. And if you're a diehard APLD investor, maybe you want to sign up for their newsletter and emails and stuff. So anyways, that's how you get to the earnings web call. It's not for another 40 minutes. So until then, we're just kind of watching APLD. It was a bit volatile. Initial negative reaction, then positive reaction. Now again, it's kind of right back up. It's just trading just below where it closed the regular session. A little bit red, but not by much. I think investors, maybe are waiting for the earnings web call. But sometimes we see a secondary move when that web call starts. So got a little bit of time before that happens. Let's see if I can find some more, because they put out a ton of commentary. Usually there's not this much commentary before they do the web call, but they put out like several paragraphs. Let me just make sure I didn't miss anything that might be interesting. So again, from this CEO, we believe we are on a projected annualized NOI run rate of approximately $500 million once Polaris Forge 1 is fully operational. The tenant signing at their second campus, should put them firmly on the path toward their $1 billion net operating income target within the next 5 years. Wow. $1 billion NOI target within the next 5 years. That's good. At this trajectory, we believe we are positioned to become a leading force in the future of AI infrastructure and on track to evolve into the next AI-focused data center, data center REIT, as the business continues to mature. Pretty good statements made there by the upper management, even before they do the web call. Just look at a few other things. Also, that link on the bottom of my screen, if you want to dig more into the financials that they just released, you can find it all by going to that link. So what you do, just come here and scroll down, and it's going to be right here. Applied Digital reports fiscal first quarter 2026 results. All right. Someone asked me the other day, they're like, we're in the fourth quarter of 2025. How are they reporting 2026 results? And just so for those that don't know, some of these companies, they start their fiscal year. They don't all start on January. So that's why that happens. Some companies' fiscal years start in the middle of the year or the end of the year. So anyways, let me post the EPS and revenue data on the bottom of my screen. We've got almost 3,000 people tuning in. What's going on, everyone? Seeing a lot of familiar faces. It's always fun hanging out with everybody. Okay, let me scroll down. I'm just seeing a lot of the info that I've kind of already gone over. Let me keep going here. I'm gonna post the EPS and revenue because they did get a double beat. They did take a net loss. They haven't pulled the profit yet. They took a $27 million net loss. Yeah, Volstagg. That's. I mean, they're saying a lot of really interesting things and kind of amazing things. They've got a solid 5-year price target. I do like the company. I really do. Okay. Let me post some of this stuff here on my screen. There we go. Okay. I'm going to go over to Levi, because I know their data's out. We got the data on APLD. I honestly do think that investors are just waiting for the earnings web call to get a better understanding and a clearer picture of their guidance, and then maybe it makes a move after that. So we're just going to have to be patient because right now there's really nothing going on. It was jumping around quite a bit at first. Had an initial negative reaction, then a positive reaction, broke over $30. Now it's just come right back down just below where it closed at. So I have a feeling this might be one of those ones that kind of need to wait till the earnings web call, which is at 5 p.m. Eastern, just so everyone knows. And I'll put that link on my screen again because I know a lot of people want to see that. Let me actually do this. Let me fix this note real quick. And then we're going to look at Levi's earnings data. Okay. There we go. I'm going to post this link instead. All right. Pretty self-explanatory there. Levi. Let's see what's going on with Levi because they had a negative reaction. They're starting to curl up a little bit right now, trying to find the bottom. Levi had a double beat, but they're down in after hours, of course. And the reason why they're down? Guidance and year-over-year numbers. We'll go over that here in a minute. So they did double beat, but investors did not like the forward guidance, and they did not like the year-over-year profit. I'm assuming in comparison to same time last year. There's Levi's earnings data right there. So they did beat EPS, came in at 0.34. The forecast was 0.31. The revenue forecast was 1.5 billion. They reported 1.54 billion. But again, it's down in after hours because of guidance and year-over-year profit. Okay, so now that we got that clarified, let's find out. Let me see if I can get anything from the CEO. Yeah, Taco Friday on YouTube. Material fabric cost increased. Yeah, I could see that. And I'm sure they probably got hit with tariffs and stuff like that. Okay, let's take a look. All right, operating margin 10.8%. Segment performance on Levi. Americas were up 6%, Europe up 5%, Asia up 12%. E-commerce up 18%, wholesale up 3%. Their balance sheet, $613 million in cash and $1.5 billion in liquidity. That's decent for a $20 stock. Dockers U.S. sale, $195 million in proceeds for Dockers. Couple highlights about their shareholder returns. $151 million. And that was via a $120 million buyback and a 0.14 dividend. Okay. Fiscal year 2025 outlook. Looks like they did raise the net revenue on that. Let's see what else they got here. Okay, yeah, okay, I see here they're blaming a lot of stuff on tariff headwinds. That's what I figured. As is most companies have been dealing with that this year, right? So tariff headwinds for Levi. All right, let's see what the CEO said and things of that nature. EPS, there's like no change in that. And what happened was for Levi is the guidance came in below forecast. Some of the guidance line items. Okay, here we go. I got some commentary here from Levi. The president and CEO, Michelle. Her name's Michelle. We delivered another very strong quarter as our pivot to becoming a DTC first, head-to-toe denim lifestyle retailer is driving a meaningful inflection on our financial performance with strength across channels, segments, and categories. While the macro environment remains complex, okay, it's just throwing in some iffy statements here. The consistency of our performance and operational agility gives me confidence that we will deliver sustained profitable growth into 2026 and beyond. Our Q3 results demonstrate the power of our strategic transformation with strong financial performance exceeding expectations across all key metrics, including sales, gross margin, and adjusted diluted EPS. That statement was from the chief financial officer. His name is Harmit. With 4 consecutive quarters of high single-digit growth and record gross margins driven by our forecast on profitability across the organization. We have built strong momentum that positions us well to continue delivering strong shareholder value next year and in the years to come. So pretty positive statements from the CEO and CFO. For the bulls, like the bull case scenario for Levi, it's the 4th consecutive quarter of high single-digit growth, and providing that the current strategy has legs. The broad-based strength, particularly the sharp rebound in Asia and continued momentum in the Americas, demonstrate resilient global demand. And kind of the case for the bears was thin, but focuses on the quality of margins. So even though gross margins expanded nicely, the adjusted EBIT margin declined year over year due to higher SG&A expenses. Management maintained its full year margin guidance despite raising revenue forecasts, suggesting either higher than expected costs. That's what we were talking about just a little bit ago, Taco on YouTube. Higher than expected costs. What do you think that is? It's the tariffs. So just, a couple highlights from there. Again, the concern for investors, which could make it into somewhat of a bear case, is a lot of the margin headwinds and the tariff uncertainty, macro stuff, things of that nature. And basically the margin fell to 11.8%. It was 12.3% last year. So that's what we were saying earlier, how it kind of affected the price here. Investors are kind of selling this just a little bit. It's not down a ton. It's down $1.17 a share 4.77%. That looks a bit worse than looking at how much is down a share. It's only down $1.17 a share. Not too bad. But keep your eye on the margin headwinds, and they're also saying that costs were higher because of tariff, which, you know, that makes sense. All right, let me see when Levi has their earnings web call. Again, APLD earnings web call. I'm going to put that link back up. That's at 5 p.m. Eastern, so you got about 25 more minutes before that's even going down. APLD sitting flat in after hours, probably just waiting on that earnings web call. But let's see when Levi is going to do their web call, and we'll get the link. We'll get the link and let everyone know when it is, and just take a quick look. Okay, I'm just going to pull this over here. I'll leave Levi on the right just because we're talking about it right now. So here it is. It's 2 p.m. Pacific time, which is going to be 5 p.m. Eastern. So both Levi and Applied Digital both are having their earnings web call at the same time. They're both at 5 p.m. Eastern, okay? And if you want a little bit of a deeper dive, let me see if I can shorten this link real quick. If you want a little bit of a deeper dive into Levi's earnings data, just make sure the link works. I'll post their link in the comments as well. That'll take you to their investor webpage, and then just scroll down where it says latest news. You can see right here. Click on that. Here, I'll go ahead and click on it so everyone can see. And then you get the full press release right here. All right. You get commentary and all that good stuff. This is where I pull a lot of the info I share with everyone. You know, instead of getting it from like some random social media thing, I like to go straight to the investor relations page. I want to know what Levi has to say. You know, I don't care what Bob the investor has to say on Reddit. Let me get it straight from the horse's mouth so I know I'm giving accurate info to everybody. And again, Levi declared a 0.14 14 cent per share dividend. And that's totaling approximately $55 million. The dividend is payable in cash on November 4th to the holders of record of the Class A stock and Class B stock at the close of the business on October 20th. So ex-div date, October 20th. You need to own shares by then, or on that day. I usually do like a buy plus right strategy where, like, one day before the ex-div date, I'll buy a few hundred shares, and then what I'll do to create to create some extra income is not only will I buy a few hundred shares the day before, and then obviously hold them through the ex-div date. So I'll be getting the dividend income there locked in. But then I'll simultaneously sell a covered call against my shares to bring in additional income from the premium we collect by writing a covered call contract. So, you know, and depending on where you position your covered call strike, obviously above your cost basis of your shares, but depending on where you position your covered call strike, you could have a third source of profit built into the trade. Because if they end up rallying and going above your covered call strike, now you're going to make profit from your cost basis of your shares. You'll get the share appreciation up to your covered call strike. So there's kind of three, it's kind of like a three profit trade there, right? You get the dividend payment, you get the premium from the covered call, and then if your shares do get called away, which is not a bad thing, you'll get the share appreciation from your cost basis on your shares up to your covered call strike. It's a beautiful thing. All right. So anyways, yeah, I put the link on the bottom of my screen. Actually, that's how you get to APLD. This link here is how to get to Levi's investor relations page. Again, if you want to take a deeper dive into their press release, their earnings press release, you can do so there. And then right on the home page of that link, you got the earnings web call, which again is at 5 p.m. Eastern, about another 20 minutes. All right, so let me move that aside. So we got the earnings data for APLD, and we got the earnings data for Levi. We got the earnings reaction for APLD, which in the grand scheme of things, there's no reaction at all. Again, it was a bit volatile in the beginning, initial negative reaction. Then it looked like it wanted to rally. Then it came back down to where it closed at. And now it's just kind of trading sideways where it closed the regular session. So I really do feel investors are waiting for the earnings web call at 5 p.m. Eastern. And then maybe this thing decides it will make a move. You know, for the bulls, I'm rooting for you. I do like the company. Levi is not flat. Okay. It had an initial negative reaction. Looked like there were a few dip buyers around 22 bucks. So it did retrace back up a little bit. Let's see what it looks like. There we go. Yeah, so it retraced up almost half of that selling move that it just had. So Levi doesn't look too bad. And it's down $1.27 a share right now. Support level number 1, probably going to put that right at $23 a share. And then support level number 2 is just going to be the after hours low, right around 22 bucks. So pretty easy levels for post-market price action on Levi. Support 1, 23, support 2, 22. All right, resistance levels for it to have a chance of retracing back up to baseline here from where it closed at. I'm kind of say, I mean, I'd like to see it break this golden ratio back up. So probably around 23.50, mid $23 range. That's going to be resistance 1, and resistance number 2. It's just going to be kind of where it closed the regular session at up there around mid $24. It looks like it's coming down to test some of these supports we were looking at. APLD, still nothing going on. So it's trading just above $29 a share right now. Let's take a look. Take a look at a few other things. Of course, everyone who looks at the market every day saw what SPY and the triple Qs did today. Majority of the day was a downtrending selling type day, which doesn't surprise me. You know, I mean, it was trading at all-time highs. It actually hit all-time high. You know, after the opening bell. Just a 15-minute chart, but you can zoom out a little bit more. And you know, right after the opening bell, it actually hit all-time high territory as far as the daily chart is concerned as well. Right here, you can see it. 673.94 is the all-time high on the daily chart. You know, so it doesn't surprise me it takes a little breather, right? Like every time it hits an all-time high, it pulls back a little bit. I mean, you can clearly see it on the chart. Like it hits all-time here, pulls back. Rallies all-time high, pulls back. Every time it hits all-time high, it usually kind of retraces back to one of these EMAs pretty shortly after that, usually within a few days or one trading week. So we got a test of the the 9 EMA on the daily chart today during today's intraday session. It was right around 669 a share. That's kind of the level I was looking at earlier today anyway. If that level would have failed, I'd be looking right around like 663 and some change. That'd be my next level down. Maybe it would come down like this green candle did not too long ago and get a nice bounce off of there and continue this bull rally. So anyways, majority of the day was a bit of a selling downtrending day. Did start reversing going into the close, 15-minute candles. Ended up closing above the EMAs. 15-minute chart, we got the EMAs starting to cross over. RSI is trending back up. Vol D was basically negative most of the day. That's the indicator I like using that compares the volume on advancing stocks to the volume on declining stocks. It's a great market internal indicator I like looking at. It's the Vol D. It doesn't have a reading in post market. It's only during the day readout. ADD, that's the advancers decliners line. That was basically negative all day. And tick was also negative all day. Those are the three indicators I like using. They're more so market internal indicators. And again, if anyone's taking notes, Vol D, if you're looking for market internal indicators, Vol D, it's like a lot of market breadth indicators. Vol D, ADD, and tick. That's TICK. Those three indicators go a long way. And they're not your normal, EMAs and all the other MACDs and all that. Those indicators are more market breadth, and I like seeing those ratios a lot. So SPY and Triple Q, they did try and reverse going into today's close. It's back to the sticks on APLD. Still nothing going on. Their earnings web calls in about 15 minutes. Bussa on YouTube. I agree. It's definitely holding. It's definitely holding up. It's basically flat in after hours. It's just it's trading in the post market just 3 cents below where it closed the regular session. So it's definitely hanging in there. I am a fan of APLD, although I don't own any shares. I've been thinking about maybe starting the wheel strategy on it, maybe selling some cash secured puts, see if I can get a discount on what the stock's trading at the time I open the cash secured put, and maybe see how many rounds of that I can get in, collect some credit. Let's see. Yeah, they got weekly options too. Look at that. Pretty sweet premium. I'm sure this is inflated because they had earnings, so that premium will probably drop a bit tomorrow. Now that the earnings catalyst is out of the way, but yeah, I got my eye on this one for sure. Levi, negative reaction. It's looking like there was some dip buyers around 22 bucks. Now it's just trading right around 23. Down 6%, $1.50 a share on Levi. So I guess we can go over look at these options on APLD that are close to the money here. We'll go October 17th, put 8 days of time on it. Let me go over an example of what you could do if you did want to maybe trade through in earnings. I know I was saying in beginning of the stream, I normally don't trade through earnings unless it's something I've been holding for a long time, and we just, I can put in some hedges in place to protect those positions. But let's say you wanted to do like an earnings lotto play. Let's just say you're bullish on APLD. What kind of trade can I do to participate in the upside if it has a positive reaction? So one thing I can show everyone is, and maybe you don't want to put up, $300-400 into this lotto play. Like, that's too much, right, for a lotto play, if you feel that way. And I'll show you a way to reduce the cost to be able to participate in these strikes that are at the money or even in the money on the call side, and not have to fork out $300 or $400. And the way you could do that is you could set up a call debit spread. So I'll just show everyone what that looks like real quick. The earnings web call for APLD isn't for another 10 minutes, everyone. I'm going to put that link back on the bottom of my screen too, because most people want to see that. But I'm just going to use October 17th expiration, 8-day hold. And I want to participate in the calls that are at the money or even in the money, but I don't want to fork out $300 or $400. That's too much for an earnings lotto trade. What you then could do is what we call a call debit spread. Option strat calls it a bull call spread. That's more like the slang term, bull call spread. Technical term, it's a vertical call debit spread. And what you can do, you can see how the setup I have here. I usually try and straddle the, I'll have one strike in the money, one strike out of the money. So you're kind of like straddling. It's not a straddle trade. I'm just saying figuratively, you got one strike that's in the money and one strike that's out of the money on the call side. So you're kind of straddling the underlying stock prices in the middle of your spread, right? That's my point. So what you could do, instead of forking out $350 for a $29 call option on APLD with the October 17 expiration, what you could do is you could, on one trade ticket, you do need a margin account to do this. And no, as long as you have settled cash to cover the width of the spread, you're not using any margin. It's just your broker's going to require a margin account to be able to form the spread. That's another misconception with spread trading. People think you're using margin because you need a margin account to trade them. That's absolutely not true. As long as you have the settled cash to cover the width of that spread, you are absolutely not using margin. You're not going to be charged interest or anything like that. Okay. So anyways, I don't want to spend $300 to $400 on a naked call because I think there's going to be a bullish reaction for earnings. So how do we get around that and reduce the buying power needed to enter a trade similar to that? It's going to be a vertical call debit spread, aka a bull call spread. You, on one trade ticket, you buy the $29 call. That's going to be buy to open. And then you're going to sell the $30 call. That's a sell to open. They're both opening transactions, but one's a buy and one's a sell. It's done on the same trade ticket. You can see here that trade only cost you $30 instead of 300 and what was it, 350? Excuse me one second. Someone's calling my office phone, probably real estate related. I will call them back later. So yeah, this $29 call, the last sale was $350. So now you don't need $350 no more. You only need 30. Now there is a trade-off. This type of trade does cap your upside a little bit, a lot of it. Let's just be straightforward with this. It will cap your upside, but that's the trade-off though, because you don't need $350 no more. You only need $30. 30 divided by 350. So, you just got like a 92% reduction in buying power needed to be able to participate in that strike that was in the money. I'm willing to do a little trade. There's always a trade-off with everything in life almost, right? So yeah, it's going to cap my upside a little bit, but instead of needing $350, I only need $30. Let's look at what the potential return would be on this trade. I only need $30. Well, it's a $1 wide spread. In the option world, it's always times 100. So we know that the width of this spread, the value of this $1 wide spread is $100, right? If it was a 5 wide spread, it'd be worth 500. So for every $1, it's $100 would be the value. So since it's a $1 wide spread, the max value is $100. If we're paying $30 to enter the trade, well, 100 minus 30. That means the most we can make on this spread would be $70. But that's okay. Because if I can make a $70 profit, plus you get your $30 back, okay? So, I just want to make that clear. You get a $70 profit plus your $30 initial investment. You'll get that back as well. That's a 233% return on your money. So do you see the trade-off here where, okay, I want to trade APLD through their earnings announcement. I am biased to the upside. I think there's going to be a bullish reaction, but I don't want to pay $350 for a $29 strike in the money call. I just don't want to put that much risk through an earnings catalyst. That's when you whip out this call debit spread. Now you only need $30 and you can still get a 233% return. And I'll usually do a handful of these because, I mean, let's just be real. I mean, it didn't cost me $350, and so, you know, it's only going to cost me $30. Maybe I'm comfortable with like putting $90, which means you could do 3 of these spreads. And each spread will yield a 233% return on your risk if the trade works out and you get a bullish move. Another beautiful thing with the call debit spread is we don't really need it to move a lot. Unlike a traditional naked call where you're fighting theta decay, right? You're going to, and also probably IV crushed, right? There's a lot of things going against you when you're trading naked calls. With this call debit spread, we really don't participate in a lot of the Greek stuff, all right? We're not really participating in the theta decay. We're not, the point of the spread is to get max gain on this spread. We just need the price of APLD to be above $30 by expiration. That's how you get the 233%. You can see right here on my, if you're looking at my screen. There's also another sliver of profit in between my break even and the strike I sold to open, which is the $30 call. So if APLD, we get to October 17th expiration and is trading between 29.30 and 30, there's still some profit to be made there. You can see here as I move the graph. But if you want the max gain, it needs to be over your entire spread, which is $30. So that's why I like trading spreads. You know, I don't care about the IV. I don't care about the theta decay. I don't even really care about the deltas sometimes, you know. And the bottom line is APLD going to be on the correct side of my spread at expiration or not? That's really all that's going on here. You don't need to, you know, have all these other things going on like you got to deal with when you're trading naked options. Spread trading is a whole different animal, and it's a lot easier to win these trades. All right. So just wanted to go over that. I thought it'd be cool to go over towards the end of the stream. But yeah, my name's the Swinging Bull with PB Alerts. Let me hide that real quick there. I just want to put my name back up there. And this is the kind of this is the kind of stuff I teach in the Discord. And I do have a coaching program. Right now I have, was the last time I checked? Right now I have 98 people. I just checked. I have 98 people in my coaching program right now. And everyone is making consistent money. I usually have 4 to 6 open trades going at one time, constantly rotating trades in and out. You know, as I close trades down for profit, I'm replacing them with new ones. But I always keep a nice pipeline of 4 to 6 trades going at all times. That way there's always something going on, and we're always making money. And I do a live weekly session every Monday at 2 p.m. Eastern, and I go over all my open trades. Also, I alert those trades in real time. Everyone knows exactly when I'm getting into those. I update them. Everyone knows exactly when I'm managing those trades. Everyone knows exactly when I'm taking profit on those trades. Everyone knows exactly when I need to play defense on any of these trades, because there's a lot of creative things you can do to help protect your positions and ensure you're on the winning side of the trade. So, you know, that's the type of stuff I teach in here. And again, I do my live sessions with the team every Monday at 2 p.m. Eastern. And I'm always available Monday through Friday in the Discord for anything, any questions, if you just want to bounce a trade idea off me or anything. But I have a lot of fun in there. I really do. And I really enjoy showing people that there are more ways to trade and creative ways to trade. It's not just, you know, buy a call, I want the stock to go up. Buy a put, I want the stock to go down. You know, I do a lot of multi-leg options. Some of the legs have different expiration dates, and it's a beautiful thing because there truly is so many different ways to trade. I have strategies that we make money when stocks are trading sideways. You know, just because the stock's trading sideways doesn't mean we can't make money. And I deploy strategies that are neutral strategies, and we make income while it's trading sideways, or maybe it's the stock's in some sort of consolidation phase or accumulation phase, and we want to make money while we're waiting for the next move. There's things we can do there. You know, so that's what I've been doing for years and years and years now, and I'm been brought on into the Discord to show everyone how to do this kind of stuff, and I have a lot of fun. Also, if you're liking the content and everything, give me a follow on X. I'll show you what my handle looks like right here. It's at swingingbull_1. I'll put it in the comments. Yeah, Carl McMuffin on YouTube, APLD. No, it didn't pop. I know the earnings web call starting right now, but keep your eye on it because as they're talking at the earnings web call, we might see a move. All right, but I think investors, it was just kind of trading flat because investors, I think, were waiting on this web call. I think it started 1 minute ago. But anyways, yeah, if y'all enjoying the content, give me a follow on X. If I also started an account challenge with $2,500. I've already it's already up 9.5% in just 5 weeks, so that one's off. The whole portfolio is so that one's off to the races. And I put a lot of my updates here on my X account. I'll post that in the chat right now too if anyone wants to follow me on X. And also, if you follow me on X and send me a DM there, I'll send you a 20% off code for my coaching group too. So that'll save quite a bit of money as well. But yeah, I hope everyone enjoyed the stream. I'm going to go ahead and sign off. Again, I do these streams every Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. This was the last earnings stream for this week. So I'll be back at it next Tuesday. If you do end up joining the Discord, tag me in the chat. I'll come by and say hello. Maybe we can talk for a little bit. Maybe there's something I can help you out with right away. You know, you never know. But yeah, other than that, my name is the Swinging Bull with PB Alerts. I hope everyone enjoys the rest of their night. And until next time, I'll see everyone in the very next stream. Cheers.